ANC reporter Lindokuhle Xulu is following that story. Let's cross over to him for the latest development. Lindo, good afternoon. Just take us through the day's events.
Well, there was a picket here marching from one of the entrances here at Megawatt Park to this one. And this is where the stage was set up, essentially, where they would be reading their memorandum of demands. They have since read out that memorandum of demands, and some of the things, I'm sure, the representatives there from the union whom you've just spoken to has recalled some of them. But we've managed to just go a step further now and speak to Eskom about some of the things that are cited in the memorandum of demands, one of them being the issue of privatization. And one of the things that Sikonathi Mantshantsha, the spokesperson for Eskom, has responded to was essentially saying that according to them, they haven't received any directive from government to say that they must sell off any entities when it comes to the unbundling of Eskom. You'd remember that they are trying to unbundle Eskom to 3 entities. So they're saying as far as things stand, everything still belongs to government. Everything is still a government-owned entity. And they're saying that there hasn't been anything really coming from government, whether in the form of a message, an email, that says that they must sell off any entities. So that is speaking against the unbundling of Eskom, which workers would be looking at and unions would be seeing as a form of first step to go into the unbundling of Eskom. But more so, we also spoke to him about the issue of Andre de Ruyter, saying that the union is of the view that Eskom is worse for wear since he came into a place. In fact, the union is saying that he is caught on record. He is on record saying that Eskom is a dead horse. So they are questioning why a person who believes that Eskom is a dead horse would still be heading this particular utility, power utility. But more so, we've also asked about the axing, or rather the call for his resignation, as well as the resignation or dismantlement of the board. And Sikonathi Mantshantsha responded to say that that is rich coming from Noom, who would try to blame things like the load shedding and all sorts of things really to the current CEO, basically saying that it has been existing for 14 years, this load shedding. So there is no ways that it could be blamed to one person. So at the end of the day, there is a bit of response we got from Eskom, but essentially saying that some of the things that the union is calling for are simply unfortunate according to them, and they're saying that there are answers really that are out there that should have swayed away such an action by the union. But of course, the memorandum of demand has been handed over to Eskom, and the expectation is that in 14 days they'll then be able to respond to the union about some of the issues in which they've raised in that particular memorandum.
Now, we also understand that you spoke to the union. What did they have to say, Lindo?
Well, the union is simple in some of their demands. First of all, it's the demand to say that whatever the unbundling means, they do not want it to be a form of privatization. But also, secondly, whatever the unbundling would mean, they do not want it to spell out as a job loss process. So those are some of the ripe and first foremost demands from the union. But also, they themselves believe that de Ruyter is a man that has proven to fail, not the union, not the public, but himself first, because he was the one that was on record saying that in 18 months he would have turned around this particular power utility. But they're saying that he's not failed anyone else but himself, and that proves to say that if he fails himself, then he's definitely bound to fail even more. And that is why they are calling for his axing, saying that he must in fact hand over his resignation. But more so, they also spoke about the responses on the Eskom board as well as the Eskom management, the executives, particularly coming out of Parliament, citing one response from David Mabuza, the Deputy President of the country, to say that they see him as a person that is protecting Eskom and its board members. And they are in fact insinuating that he has benefited somewhat, saying that they know of some companies that would have seen a benefiting of his foundation. So there's all sorts of things that the union is saying. But at the end of the day, one prime thing is that they do not want Eskom to be privatized, and they do not want this process of unbundling to actually see job losses.
No, Lindo, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much. That's reporter Lindokuhle Xulu speaking to us there.